Hi there guys, welcome to Guitar Interactive Magazine. My name's Tom Quayle, back for another review, this time this fabulous beast. This is the Mesa Boogie Mark V 35, and it's the third iteration of the Mark V combo in this case, but also available in a head format. And this is essentially exactly like the original Mark V, but in a 35 watt format with a couple of very cool added extra features as well. And the first thing I want to tell you really quickly is the way we're recording this, because this is really super cool. We have an XLR cable plugged into the back of the combo. We're not actually recording the speaker at all, hence the fact you'll see no microphone in front of there. The 12-inch speaker sounds fabulous, but this is a very, very loud amplifier, even in 10 watt mode. So Mesa Boogie have very kindly and very wonderfully built, if I can get my teeth back in, built a cab clone output in the back. Now the cab clone is Mesa Boogie's speaker simulation technology, and it's a fully balanced XLR cable DI out on the back, and you can select between 3 different voicing modes. There is a closed back 4x12 style big fat bottom end mode, which is what we're using. There's an open back mode, and we've got a vintage mode as well. So 3 different voicings, and then you can switch off the speaker. Now because I am sat right next to this right now, because we're not using room mics or anything, we've switched off the speaker. Trust me, it sounds awesome and it's super loud. But what's even more impressive is that using the cab clone, the sound that we've got in the room here feels and sounds just like a really high-end amplifier speaker. Very impressive indeed. The cab clone technology really works superbly here. So, with that said, let's go through what we've got on the front panel, the construction, so on and so forth. So, as you can see, a nice compact 1x12 design, superbly well built, as you find with all Mesa Boogie products. This thing is totally bomb-proof, weighs a ton, and is just incredibly well built. Very, very nicely put together. It's essentially a 2-channel design. Now it looks complicated, but it isn't. What you've got, if you imagine this to be channel 1, or not imagine, it is channel 1, and this to be channel 2, and they're effectively a carbon copy of each other in terms of controls. Along the left here, looking at the amplifier on the left, we've got the voicing switch, and each channel has 3 voices. The clean channel, in effect, has clean, fat, and crunch. And then the overdrive channel has a Mark IIc plus the classic Boogie high gain sound. Mark IV, again, classic territory. And then we've got the extreme mode. So exactly the same mode you would find on the original Mark V. And we can switch between them using these switches. That's not foot switchable, but you can switch between the channels using the foot switch, okay? So sorry guys, a lot to get through here. Each channel has a gain, treble, mid, bass, presence, and master control. Now the really cool thing, this mid control, from position 0 to 5 if you like, so from all the way back here to halfway up, is your standard mid-frequency kind of spectrum, so adding mids. And then when we get to past 5 all the way up to what you might call 10, I guess, you've got a mid boost, and it's adding distortion as well. So you can really tailor the sound of your distortion in the amount of mid-range in that distortion as well. Very, very cool. The bass, treble and mid are very, very interactive, as you find with all Mesa Boogie amps. So you can't just crank one and expect it to do, you know, it will interact with the other controls. So there's a lot of dialing required. Presence control adds high, ultra high end as you'd expect, the master volume as you'd expect, and then the gain. And then over here we've got the EQ section, iconic for Mesa Boogie amplifiers. I've got it in the standard kind of V shape that you find with a lot of Boogies. Now the EQ section can be switched in per channel via the foot switch or on the amplifier. So that's really cool. And then we've got a power section. Now this amp can operate between 35 watts, 10 watts, and then, 35, 25 and 10 watts per channel. Okay, that's very clever. So the power stage can switch with the channel. So I can set the clean channel to 35 watts for tons of clean headroom and volume, and then set the drive channel to 10 watts and set the master high to really push those power tubes for my overdrive. Very clever, very, very unusual as well. Something I really, really appreciate. And then we've got the solo section. So this is effectively a solo boost per channel, and they can be switched in via the foot switch. Very high quality foot switch. We'll do a cutaway and show you the foot switch separately so you can see that. Again, built to the same specifications. And then we've got power and standby. On the back, we've got an effects loop, as you would expect. There's a headphones out, which uses the cab clone technology, which you're going to hear in a second, sounds fabulous. We've got the cab clone output and all your standard speaker outs as well. So a ton of stuff on there. Very, very well built, very, very well put together. Lots of very cool features. So let's have a listen to how it sounds. We're going to try try each mode, but before we do, we'll start with the clean channel. I'll show you the EQ section, and I'll show you the graphic EQ as well. And then we'll switch between the different modes on each channel. So originally, just straight into the clean channel, I'm going to use the neck pickup on my guitar. Set everything roughly at 12 o'clock. Master's fairly high, and it's in 35 watt mode for the maximum headroom. The EQ, graphic EQ, is switched out of the circuit, and we get this. Sparkly clean tones, very, very rich and dynamic as well. They respond beautifully to your pick attack, and I am so impressed with that cab clone technology. This sounds like it's coming out of a guitar. It doesn't have that weird kind of digital compressed feel that you often find when you're using speaker simulation, even with a real amplifier. So moving into the EQ section, let's start with the gain because that's going to really affect the tone that we've got. So we'll bring the gain up, bring the master down. Again, tons of clean headroom here. So that's thickened things up a lot. Again, still in clean territory. If I hit hard, that's still an edge of breakup tone. Super easy to play, again, very dynamic, very full sounding. If we back that off to about halfway, play with the treble control. If you need to cut, that's going to work for you. Bring the treble control down. Typical boogie territory, still very, very musical and not dull sounding at all. Let's play with the mids. Now, again, the mids from 0 to 5 is going to be just a standard mid control. So a little more scooped there. Now as we go past 5, you can hear we're actually pushing. It's a little bit like a mid boost. And now we're fully into breakup territory, so a mild crunch tone basically. And that's because that mid control has actually boosted the mids in the circuit. Very cool feature. Again, not channel switchable, sorry, foot switchable unfortunately, but you could set that as a kind of boosted kind of clean tone, and then you know, set this maybe cleaner the second channel, so you've got like a crunchy clean tone and then a kind of drive tone, which is kind of cool. And then the presence control. Sorry, bass first, I'm talking rubbish. So you can hear that gives a woof to the signal. Fills out that bottom end, bring that back. We'll set that to about there. Then the presence. So lots of sparkle if required, bring that back down again. So as you can hear on this clean channel, yet to find an unmusical tone just by randomly moving those tone controls. It sounds great. And then the master, if we bring the gain down, so let's stick this in 10 watt mode by bringing this switch down, bring the master up, and then put some gain in there. Now remember, we're still on just the clean voicing of channel 1. And we've got beautiful kind of gnarly kind of crunch tones. So a really wide range of tones available just on that one channel. So back to 35 watt mode. Now let's switch in the EQ so you can hear what's going on there. And again, I'm going to do this when we get to the higher gain sounds as well. So the EQ. So that's now on, and then off. Now if we play with the individual sliders, gives us a huge amount of control that we can use as almost like a second voicing on top of the original voicings. So very, very cool indeed. And again, because that's foot switchable, we can bring that in for a solo boost, or we can bring that in to change the tone slightly as required. And we can do that on either of the channels for any of the 6 voicings. So very, very cool indeed. Okay, so we'll leave that out of the circuit for the minute. Let's switch that off. Now we'll change between the different voices. So this is the standard clean mode. Now for some that may be a little bit thinner sounding. It's great for kind of funk stuff, great for country, but if we move down to the fat switch, you can hear the way that fattens up. There's the standard, and now fat. Very cool. Very nice clean tone indeed. And then when we move to the crunch setting and we increase the gain, let's increase it a fair way. Lovely kind of medium gain kind of rock tones. And remember, this is coming through the cab clone. This sounds like an amp in the room. It's very impressive. The reverb, by the way, is reverb coming from the amp as well. So that's built in also. The controls for the mix are which on the back. Okay, so let's move over to channel 2. At this point, we just press the channel switch on the foot switch, or we could use the switch here to do that. It's set to foot switch mode at the moment, and we're in Mark II C+. The EQ controls do the same kind of thing. So I'm not going to fiddle with those. I'm just going to fiddle with the graphic EQ just here. So on Mark II C+ with the gain just over halfway, classic boogie territory, loads of gain, lots of saturation, feels great to play, really, really nice. Now if we scoop out the mids here, and we do that classic V kind of territory for Mesa Boogies, we go from to this. Okay, so that's that graphic EQ in effect again. So we'll knock that out. We'll go to the Mark IV mode, more gain, a slightly different voice. Amazing kind of drive sounds, and again, great for lead tones, great for palm muted kind of rock stuff. And then we get to extreme. Again, listen, it's a pretty quiet amplifier considering the amount of gain that's going on as well. So that's pretty impressive. So the extreme mode is for all the kind of detuned metal guys. Not me, I can't do that kind of stuff, but I'll play you some stuff anyway. So there's as much gain on this amplifier as you would ever need, and on top of that, of course, you've got the solo boosts as well. So if I set my solo boost to just over halfway for channel 2, and then engage it, now that may well be clipping the front end of the camera, I'm not sure, but you can see that's a big boost that we've got going on there. So you can set that to wherever you want for that solo boost. And again, this is a loud amplifier. Believe it or not, if we switch down to 10 watt mode, even for this clean channel, and boost that master, it's too loud to be sat next to in the room, okay? But having said all of that, you've got that headphone output and the cab clone output. So if you want to do recording with it silently through a pair of headphones, or just practice with it, you can do. So really it's the ultimate amplifier in terms of versatility and in terms of being able to use it at home, in the studio, and live. More than loud enough to compete with any drummer on stage. Very cool. And if you want to play through the PA, your engineer doesn't want to mic up the cab, just send the cab clone out. You can still monitor through the speaker, or you can switch the speaker off entirely, which is what we've done here. So all in all, a highly impressive package. Comes at a typical Mesa Boogie cost, especially if you're not in the USA. Very expensive amplifier, but considering what you get here with those 6 voices, great EQ section, really good fun to play, great tones, and those added extras now for the 35 watt mode in terms of the cab clone. Very cool indeed. So, hope you enjoyed this review, guys. As ever, check out the text in the magazine for all the details, and I will see you next time.